Okay, hello ladies and gentlemen. So we finished, yes, this is day 12 of us doing Scientology. My brain is spinning because of what I just did for the Islam video. Yeah, just go and check that video out, guys. I don't know what to tell you. But anyways, we're in Scientology now. I really wish I should have done that video last. But anyway, we talked about operating Thetan level 4 yesterday, and we finished off on the fact that they were saying that he simply, once a person has resolved his traumas, he simply needs to resolve his confusions through continual acquisition of knowledge. Here, subject clearing is the right procedure. So feel free to go on ahead to yesterday to figure out what that was all about. If you don't know where to find that, this will be the second link in the description box. First video will tell you about the series, and then the last video, day 11, will tell you about OT level 4. Go back, do what you got to do. So we're going to continue here in OT level 5. Operating Thetan level 5 is about freedom from fixed introversion into MEST. But this level, like an earlier level, is completely dependent on an MEST device called the E-meter. The dependency on the mechanical conditioned device for the freeing up of conditioned thought is definitely an anomaly in Scientology. Let me read that again because I feel like my brain did not completely take in what I just read. Is that helping to anybody else where you're like, I don't know if I fully just took that in? So the dependency on a mechanical conditioned device for freeing up of conditioned thought, is definitely an anomaly. In Scientology, this has led to desperate attempts like RPF, Rehabilitation Project Force, where a person is forced to work with MEST to his physical limit under stringent conditions. Scientology is trying to handle introversion into MEST while being totally fixated on the accuracy of an MEST device called E-meter. The rehabilitation of a person depends on resolving all fixations in his viewpoint. The effort through Scientology has been exteriorize the Thetan from his body, or to resolve the fixation of the body. When we consider freedom from fixated introversion into MEST, okay, I actually understand what they're saying, so just hold on, guys. It includes resolving the fixation on the E-meter that does not have much utility. Beyond handling of traumas. See E-meter and OT auditing. So that's a separate thing. The correct direction is the clearing up of doubts, perplexities, and confusions through the use of study and subject clearing. Note, the original OT level 5 was replaced by NOTs, New Era Dianetics for OTs, but that did not handle the anomaly described above. So they're essentially saying they've introduced the E-meter in order to have a specific way to separate essentially our fixation of our experience as humans, is what I'm understanding, versus our experience as a Thetan. So to exteriorize the Thetan from his body, or to resolve the fixation on the body. So again, it's this airy-fairy spiritual behaviors of what started off as removing a reactive mind, and now it's like, be free of being the limitations of your body, which is something that was said earlier, if I'm not mistaken, that we're supposed to be able to get to a state where we are not limited by our body and can control ourselves via other means than a human way of, controlling ourselves. So that's just a bit nutty. So now we're going to OT level 6, operating Thetan level 6. The goal of the original OT level 6, which, guys, if you don't know why I'm going through this as far as why it keeps referring to the ones before and the ones now, that's because this article in particular is talking about how these operating Thetan levels have changed, which I think is highly relevant to discuss with this, because again, it's showing something that is just changing all the time. So this could change at any time. I don't know how you can trust in something that can change at any given time. The goal of original OT level 6 was freedom from the inability to operate exterior. It depended on going back to 1955 processes from the book Creation of Human Ability. The mid-50s was a period when Hubbard was at the height of his intuitive faculties. His outline of Scientology, as presented in the Phoenix Lecturers, is a masterpiece, but Hubbard could not fully differentiate the handling of traumas in the Dianetics from broad handling, could not differentiate the handling of traumas in Dianetics from broad handling of knowledge in Scientology. He kept going back to his original theory in Dianetics, which had some success in early 50s. That theory was based on the idea of a basic, which is best represented by the fall of man from the Garden of Eden. Can we stop? Can we actually stop taking from the Bible? I would like for all religions, all belief systems to stop offering a cheap, diluted, demonic version of what God of the Bible has. Please, can we do that? Thank you, everybody. Because it's just irritating me. Find another way to explain it. Because if it's the Garden of Eden, if that's what's going on, then you should be telling the people to the Bible. You should be telling the people to go to the Bible, to Jesus Christ, to receive Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. Thank you. But traumas in humankind are very few and recent. But traumas in humankind are few and recent. Beyond the traumas are doubts, perplexities, and confusions only, which are things that are supposed to be removed in higher OT levels, if you guys remember. But traumas there is no ultimate trauma that caused all of man's ills. Hubbard kept looking for the ultimate trauma but failed. Lie. Because it starts with Adam and Eve, and it starts with the ultimate trauma was us making ourselves like gods. That's what started cascaded entropy in the universe. That was the first domino, hitting all the dominoes to the domino effect of where we are today. Freedom from the inability to operate exterior depends only on freeing the viewpoint from all its fixations. I love how they try to use all this, anyway. So note, the original OT level 6, was replaced by NOT's New Era Dianetics for operating thetans, which was basically an attempt to clean up OT level 3. So essentially, this is all just active, continued research. We have a theory, we're calling it Scientology and Dianetics, and we have to keep adjusting it because the things that we're trying to do, the things that we're trying to achieve are not exactly working. So actually, we've got to keep finding another reason, another way, another thing to explain what we're doing, because we actually don't know what we're doing, because this is actually fraudulent, and this is actually made up, and this is actually an idea that came straight from the pits of hell in order to distract people, to take them down the road of a religion that's going to destroy them mentally, because they're going to think that they're thetans that came from a planet 75 million years ago that was ruled by a galactic overlord called Xenu, and that they've been thrown here along with disembodied spirits and thetans that are attached to them that they need to audit in order for them to live freely. And that's going to take them their whole life anyway. And by the time you've signed the billion-year contract anyways, you're going to be in so far, and you're going to be closed into this cult, which should be called worse than a cult if you ask me, into Satanism, and you're not going to be able to get out because we're going to have brainwashed you so much, despite gaslighting you and telling you that you were brainwashed prior, right? So much that you're not able to leave, and we're going to make it hard for you to leave. So yeah, welcome to Scientology, ladies and gentlemen. OT level 7. The goal of the original operating level 7 and 8 was freedom from the inability. Listen to how stupid this sounds. Freedom from inability to be totally free. Freedom from the inability to be totally free, and total cause as a being. The action of this level was later changed to going back to OT level 3 type handling of BTs, body thetans. This basically shows that operating thetan levels went into a tailspin after OT level 3 led to endless auditing. Remember, we discussed this, how they realized that what they were doing at operating thetan level 3, I think it was, is that if we just keep going back and back and back, we're going to go back forever, because every single lie of the kingdom of darkness is an endless pursuit of knowledge that ends in nothing other than you dying and realizing you wasted your whole entire life on a lie, right? And so they had to adjust it just to be you go back in your own life. But don't worry, we're still going to get you to that stage, but it's coming later. Right, so it seems that solo auditing on OT levels turned into random auditing without any discipline, i.e. self-auditing. The cause of this explained above, a flawed theory of man. The cause of this is explained as above, a flawed theory of fall of man from the Garden of Eden and the total dependence on an unthinking device, e-meter. The conclusion must be stated as, there is no Garden of Eden to be restored. There are simply gains from the evolution to be consolidated. There are simply gains from evolution to be consolidated. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is where I have heard the most hate. This is the lie. This is the lie. This is the lie. Another lie. How many lies are there going to be? There is nothing to be restored. We absolutely are restoring. Can I tell you guys that the whole ethos of me and the winning team, and why I'm rooting myself in God, and why I'm saying if life's a game, let's play to win. The whole ethos of this all is exactly to restore us to the Garden of Eden. That's the whole purpose of Jesus Christ. That is the purpose, because that's where it went wrong. That's where we stepped out of the will of God. That's where we stepped out of the protection of God. That's where we stepped out of thriving. Because in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve were thriving. God had made the world. He made it for them. Adam just had to tend to the garden. They just had to enjoy themselves in what God created, do minimal amounts of work realistically, and just enjoy creation, the earth that God created. Then we chose selfishness, kicked out of the garden, and now we went from abundance to working by the sweat of the brow, which is what the Hebrew translates to what Adam has to do, which is a modern day language would be like living paycheck to paycheck, not being sure if you're going to eat tomorrow. We went from abundance in the garden to that. Here he's saying there's no restoration. There is no Garden of Eden to be restored. Lie. And if you're a member of the winning team, this is exactly what I'm praying for all of you, every single person who's subscribed to this channel. This is exactly what I believe is on offer. This is exactly what I believe God wants to do. I believe he wants to restore us to the Garden of Eden. I believe he wants to bring us back to that lifestyle. And that's when our life will look different to the rest of the world, because we'll be living like we're in the Garden of Eden, not like the rest of the world who does have to live by the sweat of the brow, that does have to live wondering about where tomorrow's this and that is coming from. Not over here, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm very irritated by that. And I'm very irritated once again. Who asked to bring up the Garden of Eden? Why are you bringing it up? And again, it's like a defense. It's like the same thing I was saying about Islam. Like, you have to talk about something else in order to like defend that thing from make your thing sound more right. If your thing is right, then it will stick up for itself. Why do you need to say something about something else to try and be like, and I thought this was a religion of religions. I thought that Scientology went along with other religions as well. So what happened to that? I thought you can be Roman Catholic and Scientologist. I thought so many churches are using Scientology, but churches believe in the Garden of Eden. So surely that would be a contradictory thing to be in a church and also be in Scientology. Surely that doesn't make any sense, right? Am I crazy, guys? Tell me if I'm crazy. Am I crazy? Tell me, because if I am, let me know. Because I think this is crazy. This for me is crazy. I don't even want to go past this point, to be honest, because I don't even want to get into where we are at here. I might even just genuinely, oh gosh, this looks horror. I might just genuinely leave this here because I feel like we've heard enough. We've heard enough. He says there are simply the gains from evolution to be consolidated. So we need to just deal with what's happened as a result of evolution. We need to consolidate that. What I want to know is an answer to this, as a question to this is, how does this theory of evolution, consolidation, Xenu, us as the Thetans, where's the crossover point? As I've said before, it's in my God versus Science video. The crossover point for me of logical, tangible, quantifiable science that we can all quantify and see as tangible in our own lives for the law of entropy overlaps with the story of the Bible. There was a point in time where things started, we were in a place of perfect order, and disorder started and disorder continues, because as soon as disorder was entered into the world, we continue to move towards disorder, right? So total disorder for me is death, because if you think about it in a logical sense, death is total disorder. Life is order, right? We're in order, we're in life, we're alive, right? Therefore, for me, the point of entropy starting is Adam and Eve. Boom. Makes sense, because prior to that, everything was perfect. God created everything the way it was supposed to be, and everything was where it was supposed to be. Everything was in order. As soon as the order was messed with, death entered into the picture, entered into the world, and now we've been going on a downward spiral, on a domino effect of that for the rest of however long we've all been here, right? And it still continues. So that is an overlap of science and the Bible. That makes sense. That makes logical sense, right? Because again, it was proven, even just to prove the Big Bang Theory itself, scientists previously believed that the universe was static. But we had to prove that the universe is indeed actually expanding. That's what's actually going on, which again, partners along with this idea of entropy and Adam and Eve. However, this idea of evolution, we are clearly not evolving as humans because we're getting worse. We're not living as long. We've all got all these mental health disorders and this, that, and the other. All of these allergies, you name it, right? We're needing all these extra supplements. Like, it surprises me how back in the days of like Abraham, these guys were probably just eating off the land, not washing a lot of stuff, right? Killing animals and thriving, living for hundreds of years. And now we're waking up and taking 40,000 supplements every morning. I'm not judging anybody because that's what we're all doing, because we're not moving forward, not evolving. We're devolving, which that story goes along with the law of entropy, and it goes along with the story of the Bible, because that tells us that we are deteriorating. We are moving more to disorder. Even if you just think of the word disorder, how much common is it now for mental health disorders? Now everybody has something. Everybody has something. We're all diagnosed with something now, and everybody's diagnosable. with something now, right? So we are clearly moving more in that state. So how can we possibly call that evolution? If we still, according to evolutionary theory, how is it that we have all of these huge pyramids, all these things that people have built, things that are these long-lasting buildings, that we still don't have the technology to make ourselves? Somehow they're on Earth. Somehow we're evolving. Make it make sense. Somebody make it make sense, because it's not making no sense to me. Look at the dysfunction in the families. Look at the dysfunction in the household. Look at the dysfunction in the world, in the workplace, and everywhere, right? Look at how depressed everybody is and all this. Tell me how that's us evolving. Tell me how that's us getting better. Tell me how that's us moving forward. So what evolution is there to consolidate, is my question. L. Ron Hubbard. What evolution is there to consolidate? And how dare you, and how can you even consider that, oh, there is no Garden of Eden to return to? No. Incorrect, my friend, because the Big Bang Theory in and of itself is contradictory. Go and check out my God versus Science video, guys. I go over all of the scientific theories as to why I'm saying this. I talk about the scientist, and I go through the Bible. It's like a 2-hour video. I spend like the first hour going through science, and then the second hour I'm talking about the Bible and all sorts of things. Yeah. And I finish on a very interesting story that I'm going to tell you about. Very interesting experiment that I came about because one of my brothers told me about this, actually. And here's the experiment, guys, and this is what I want you to think, especially when you think about your idea of religion, your idea of Scientology, your idea of church, Christians, the world, the evolution, science. They did an experiment with 5 monkeys, right? And for these 5 monkeys, what they did, you can hear about this. I've got the stuff all in the God versus Science video, right? In what they did with the monkeys is they had 5 monkeys, and they would put out, like, let's say the bananas, whatever, and the monkeys would go to them, and then what they would do is they would spray the monkeys with ice cold water, which means that the monkeys would stop going for the bananas. Then they would swap out one monkey, and with a new monkey, obviously that monkey would go to get the bananas, but the other monkeys would stop this monkey and start beating up the monkey, because they knew that this ice water was gonna come to them. Now, this monkey doesn't know why this is happening, but this monkey now knows, hey, I'm not doing that because I'm going to get beat up, right? Then they kept replacing the monkeys until there was all new monkeys. Now, all these new monkeys would not go for the banana. Now, think about this. None of them know why, because they were not the 5 original monkeys who experienced what they did. And yet they were not going to the monkeys, to the bananas, because of the fear that they had, even though there are 5 new monkeys. Ladies and gentlemen, this is us as people. This is us as humans. A lot of the stuff that we believe, a lot of the stuff that we think, we don't know, because we're just following along, following the crowd with stuff that we've never researched ourselves, with stuff that we are not knowledgeable about, right? And this is what's actually hurting us. I don't know if you guys can recognize that. So that's why I'm mentioning this 3 monkey scenario situation, because that's how a lot of us are today. That's how a lot of us are behaving. We are like these monkeys, going in, following, not wanting to believe in God or the Bible, not wanting to believe in Jesus Christ, because of something that we don't actually understand for ourselves. We haven't assessed it ourselves. We haven't seen for ourselves what the consequences or whatever is going to be of us pursuing these things. We're just following along whatever we've been told or whatever we heard or whatever we saw, without actually giving the thing a real chance. And that's why I believe a lot of people don't have a relationship with God. And it's not always everybody's fault, guys. I'm not saying this to make everybody feel like trash, okay? That's not the point. I'm saying this hopefully to shed light and give up a new perspective. Because even with this Scientology stuff, the reason why I'm going through this, and I know that I might be the only person who's truly interested in this deep level of understanding of this stuff. The reason why I'm doing this, guys, is because this is the stuff that people don't know. This is the 5 monkey experiment. People walk into this place. They don't know why. They've just heard about it. They haven't researched it. They haven't looked into it. Right? And if they had, look at this, guys, it's only been we're day 12 days, and every day I'm just doing one bit at a time. I've been going through this one paper for a couple of days, and look how much we've learned just for this alone. Look how much I've learned just from reading the Scientology website. This is what I'm saying. We've got to be people, and I encourage people on this channel all the time, that we are people who don't just think things. We know why we think things, and we know why we prepare why we think things. right? And why do we do that? We do that because we want to make sure that if we're held accountable, if we're signing any type of contract, whether it be for 1 year, whether it be for $1 billion, that we know why we're doing it. We know why we're signing up for it. That if we are not doing something else, we're not doing something else because we've assessed why we're not doing that thing else. And we have a reason. It's not just that, oh, I've heard this before and I've done that before, because that's how the kingdom of darkness will trap us, ladies and gentlemen. This is the point I'm trying to say here. The 5-monkey experiment. We're just there, not doing something, not knowing why. And some of the things we're not doing, we think that there's a fire that doesn't exist. We think we're avoiding a fire that doesn't exist. I think that's what happens to a lot of people with God. They think that, oh, I'm not going to pursue God or talk to God because of things that we've put onto God that isn't who God is, right? And so we're resisting him. We're resisting what we actually need because of something that doesn't exist. Right? And we all do it. I do it. And I struggle with it in my own relationship with God myself, because I was even just thinking as I was saying it, I was like, girl, you need to listen to yourself more so, right? It's part of us being as humans. It's part of the conditioning that does happen in the world, unfortunately, right? So anyways, guys, I'll leave it there. Yeah, what the hell? What the freaking hell? Yeah, I'll leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope that you've enjoyed this. I continue to enjoy it. I'll see you guys tomorrow in day 13, where we continue onto the other operating Thetan levels. Like I said, it might seem tedious, it might seem extreme, it might seem really like overly academic, all this stuff, but there's a reason for it, guys, because if we're going to know about something, if we're going to fight an enemy, we need to understand our enemy. But also, if we're going to say that we don't believe in something, we need to have our own reasons. Because right now, I have way more reasons than a lot of people as to why I'm against Scientology. If I was to be interviewed on national television about this, I have a lot of things I can say that I'm quoting Scientology itself. It's not just, oh, I heard a couple of celebrities talk about this. I've studied the literature, both the literature that they've had, the interviews that the literature that they give out, the interviews that they say from their own words from the people there. I've gone to the place to have the own test myself. I've done the research for what other people have to say who have studied the different methods that they're using. I have a lot in my tank to actually stand my ground if I'm to be questioned already. And we haven't even scratched the surface, I'm sure, of everything that we're going to discover. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. I know this is a heavy 22 days of stuff, but it's here for whenever you're here for it. If it's too much right now, guys, come back to it in another time. Watch it in your own pace. For me, I just knew that it needed to be done in this way in 22 days. I just knew it, and I don't know why, but I just know that it does need to be done this way. So anyways, thanks be to the Lord. If life's a game, let's play to win, ladies and gentlemen. Receive Jesus Christ in your Lord and Savior. Don't fall for this stuff. The stuff with the Lord is amazing. You won't be on some long, never-ending pursuit of knowledge just to end in nothing. You will be fulfilled in now, and you'll be standing in purpose, and you'll have life and life abundantly, as is promised with Jesus Christ. So thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you all, and I'll see you in my next one.